Safety. Call to order, roll call, please.
Bauer. Here. Elwick.
Here.
Gates. Here. Senius.
Here.
Blumenauer. Here. Sark. Here.
All right, so pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We got a motion to approve the agenda as written. Second by Bethany, second by Tammy. All those in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
Motion.
Motion by Riley, second by Bethany. Any questions? Anybody?
Do we have places for the condemned signage, or just stock in the?
Actually, Blake does have places,
He needs some.
they've actually came in, so.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, now it's time to receive and file communications, petitions, and remonstrances. Anybody have anything? Sweet. Moving on, committee reports. Don't think we had any.
You had one, I think.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Business type activities met to review the RFP for our sanitation for next year, as well as recommendation for fuel surcharge reimbursement for J&R, which is down under new business, or excuse me, under old business for approval. There's a formula in your packet that you can see that we'll be using to make our recommendation for the reimbursement. In regards to the RFP, we did want to include in the request that the providers provide cans, but it's not an option. Whoever wants to bid must provide cans for us. I think that was the only thing.
Extra cans.
Just, we have had a couple of inquiries as to whether or not the city would require cans.
Go back to just bags.
Yeah, just go back to having bags on the curb, so we decided we don't want to do that. So we want required cans. So that's where we're at, and then.
We don't want to go backwards, Ron. Just saying.
I like it better.
That's it.
Okay. No others that I'm aware of.
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, moving on to citizens input. Council won't take any action on public comments at this meeting. You may do so at a future meeting. Please limit your presentation to 3 minutes. Or with this timer, please. Anybody?
I guess I must be the only one.
State who you are, where you live.
Mark Elwick, 14.
That's not a microphone.
Said the microphone. Alright, we'll start over. Don't, hey, restart my egg timer.
Okay.
Mark Elwick, 1402 East 7th Street. So, I'm just here to talk about, I missed out on the first reading of the UTV, ATV potential change for having turn signals added. And so I just thought, talked to a few folks and, trying to understand this. I've done a little research, but, the state in the summer changed to allow ATVs, UTVs in all 99 counties. They pretty well spelled out, here's what we require: headlights, taillights, brake lights, horn, and mirrors. And all the roads we can go on. So I was a little disheartened to hear that we decided to change that up and add another layer, which I think in talking to people will make it hard to enforce from the police officer's perspective. Because I'm not sure how we're gonna know the difference between a farmer that lives in Benton County driving into Vinton, doesn't have turn signals because it's not required in the county, or people from Independence or Laporte. There's a lot of ATV clubs that drive around to different towns, visit. How are we gonna give them a ticket when they don't have a turn signal? Because 90% of the ATV, UTVs don't come with them. Now, you can get them on some newer ones, but the older ones don't. I think what we're adding is a usury tax here. I mean, in a quick Google search, the cheapest little cheap turn signal kit's $100 plus if you're able or capable to put it on. If not, you pay Coop $100 an hour shop rate, right, 2 hours. You're charging everybody $300. That's if they do that. Some people have a Polaris and they like Polaris. Well, the turn signals for a Polaris factory, $300-400 plus installation. So I don't know what the value precipitated this change or why we were thinking of adding one more level. I'm not aware of the reasoning behind it, and I guess that's not for me to discuss here. But I did go down. Lexa gave me some information to print out from the states. They give you, what they require. She said there's 1,700 ATVs and snowmobiles and UTVs registered in Benton County, approximately. So we're affecting a certain number of those that live in Vinton, and then we're affecting the rest as they visit. And then I also went and did a little research. Currently, Wisconsin has 490,000 UTVs, ATVs, and I have what they recommend, which is pretty much what the state of Iowa agreed upon, and I served the state of Iowa in their research, kind of looked at others. And again, I don't know why we do this, why we're looking at this specific one. I've had a lot of people say, well, golf carts, bicycles, motorcycles, legally. I have an old motorcycle that's street legal, but it doesn't have turn signal, the old right, left that you're supposed to do when you enter an intersection. I'm sure the policeman can attest. And if we're not following the rules, there are other, we can enforce some of the current ones that are on the book. So I have all this documentation. And really, that's all I had to say. I don't think there's any other information I have, but I just was curious why and why we go above and beyond. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr.
Mark.
Hill.
Mark.
Anybody else?
Oh, I wasn't the only one, sorry.
My name's Shelby Baker. I live at 2578 62nd Street, south of town. I see that there's seeking approval for tree bids on ash trees tonight. I was wondering when that was posted, where it was posted. I wonder if they take it into things consideration of properly insured. There's a lot of people operating around town under landscaping insurance, which only covers you to 20 feet. I sent an email to the Vinton Parks about a week and a half ago inquiring about that stuff. I did not receive a reply. I was called and left a message this morning on Matt Bogus's email, or voicemail. I have not received a response, so just wondering if it was actually an open bid that all the tree services around town would have access to, because there are probably 6 I can name off the top of my head, just that are locals. That's all I'm wondering about. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Maybe? Okay, yeah, sure. You have 3 minutes?
Yep.
So I'm not on your agenda. I'm sure eventually I would be. Can I give something to you guys?
Right after you give me your name and where you live.
Sarah Pullman Gill, 704 East 8th Street.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. I can't do this?
Yeah, you can.
I got 3 minutes, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Thank you. I'll try to be quick. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. So I'm trying to build a garage. And I know I had, I'm gonna read this, it'll just be easier. I'm here to ask for an exception to build a 32 by 36 garage. the code of ordinance allows for approval of up to 1,400 square foot. My lot works with the setbacks, is aligned in a way that it would not impede the neighborhood. I'm not asking to build the biggest that I can go, just the size I feel would meet my needs and fit in line with my existing neighborhood. It's important to get this started soon. A very short window of time to get concrete in preparation for build. As you can see, the weather is turning like next week, okay. I've submitted my plans and applied for a building permit, so I need city council to grant it. My project meets all other requirements, including height and exclusions of it being just slightly bigger. I know the city has granted these exceptions in the past, and that's why it's the ordinance. Basically, I had my brother, Coleman Construction, drop off my permit and my stuff. I gave him cash and everything. Blake was not that they available, so he handed it to Chris. And then he gave it to Blake, and Blake called him on Monday, this Monday, and told him that I need to move my garage back another 8 foot. It can't be flush with where the old garage used to be 2 people before me. It has to be back 8 foot. And he told me I could go all the way up to 3 feet from my property line to the east, which I don't think is correct. Whatever. And then he said that I would need to go to zoning, and he said the meeting would be on Tuesday, and I said, Tuesday, tomorrow, no, next Tuesday, and he said, okay, the 15th, okay. So I'm taking time off work to go to this, and I'm just hoping it still is Tuesday, because time is of the essence, and I'm running out of time. So yeah.
It is on the 15th, if I may, Mr. Mayor. And oversized garages do not come to the council. It only goes to planning and zoning. And it's under 1,400 square foot or less.
But it was my understanding that the council could actually approve something, and it wouldn't have to go to zoning. Am I wrong?
We would send it to zoning no matter what
Okay,
first.
all right, so I'm mistaken, I apologize.
And then they give us their recommendation, and then
Sure.
we can evaluate from there.
Sure.
Only if it's a rezoning.
Anyhow, that's all. I would really like to get my garage done, like soon. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Anybody else? Anybody out there?
If anybody wishes to address the council, please use the little hand button at the bottom of the Zoom app. I don't see anybody.
All righty, moving on. Old business. I may need consideration and adoption of ordinance 1078, an ordinance adding a new chapter 1.4 food trucks.
Motion? Second.
Motion by Davis, second by Riley. Questions? Comments? Roll call?
Gates.
Yes.
Elwick.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Messinius.
Yep.
Fluhop. Yes. Beerbauer. Yes.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Elwick, second by Bethany to adopt. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Stark. Sorry.
Yes.
Beerbauer.
Yes.
Fluhop.
Yes.
Elwick.
Yes.
Messinius.
Yeah.
Gates. Yes.
Right, B. Now it's time for second consideration of ordinance 1079, and ordinance amending provisions pertaining to utility vehicles.
Well, what are we gonna do about the turn signal thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
have a
second.
motion and a second.
Okay. All right.
Second.
Motion by Bethany, second by Ron. Okay, now what do you want to do?
Well, I would say, the chief is the one who did this, correct? Change this stuff.
I talked to Chief this morning, no, that was, he told me that was coming from the council.
Our committee was fairly split on whether or not to include turn signals from what I remember. So I think that's the direction, sort of the committee, that they decided to go ahead and include it. Does that sound right?
Well, in retrospect, when this whole thing started, I said they needed to have headlights, they needed to have turn signals, and it had to have everything, and then everybody else just went.
So, you know my stance on it.
No, I think I said, well, I can do this too, just like I do on a bicycle.
Yeah.
Mr. Elwick,
Yeah.
how often do you use that on your motorcycle? Do you actually?
Well, I have turn signals on that one.
But how about your other one that you don't, admit that you have, that doesn't have
Well,
turn signals?
yeah, if I'm at an intersection, I you know, if I'm on a highway or I'm somewhere where I've used them, I'm not the person that says no.
Just, doesn't matter.
Get me in trouble with the cops sitting here.
Yeah, I know. I'll give you his address later.
I already gave it.
But then, how many people on bikes or in UTVs or anything like that are actually signaling without a signal? Or are they just rapidly turning in front of people?
Yeah, I don't think.
How many people in a car actually just turn in front of people without signaling?
I signal every time, even on gravel roads, but be around me.
I am the reason for defensive drivers, I'm just telling you. So,
I had a brief conversation with the chief earlier today, and I know part of the reason why he was, I guess, wanting turn signals is because not everybody, you know, knows the hand signals and whatnot. So I guess that was kind of what he was wanting to get at, but at the same time, everybody knows turn signals, so.
And that gives the police some, meat if the people do have the, turn signals on their vehicle and they didn't use it. So,
So from the other side, I actually like the idea of turn signals. I have a UTV as well. So when the law was passed in the state of Iowa, it was for rural use, so cities can dictate what they want. Everyone will agree that driving a UTV on a gravel road is different than driving it down C Avenue in Vinton. So my opinion is,
Which you're not supposed to be driving.
but you're allowed to under the new ordinance.
No,
So
you're not on a highway.
no.
no, you can drive it.
No,
It's
you
within the
cannot.
it's within the city limit. So that's one
No.
key area that you have. You have other vehicles in town. If you're downtown driving your UTV, is it an expense to drive your vehicle in town? Yes, it is. You're gonna have to pay to have turn signals put in because very few of them have them. But at the end of the day, the city doesn't even have to allow UTVs. It is in their jurisdiction to say no, like Cedar Rapids or like Waterloo. Vinton's embrace it, in my opinion. I think it's good because if you're got a UTV on the road, they need a signal just so that everybody knows they're turning, so we don't have accidents that are, you know, obviously if somebody gets hit in a UTV, it's gonna be substantially more damage than if they got hit in a car, so.
Knock on wood, we haven't had any action with the golf carts yet either.
Yeah.
So,
Golf carts can only go like 10 miles an hour though.
they still have to obey the speed limits anyhow, so.
So I had the question posed to me, and if we have discussed this in the past, I don't remember. If this passes, then do we go retroactive with it and require them all
Or do
that
we,
already have their permits to come in?
or are the other ones grandfathered in?
You can't
Right.
have a permit with the new ordinance. That's the reason you're changing it, because you can't charge for use of streets.
Right, right.
so the options are, we approve the ordinance as is, or somebody makes a motion to amend it.
Yep.
And then we start over, or can we continue on this being number 2 just with the amendment?
Well, with the amendment would be a substantial change to the ordinance, so therefore you would have to start over from the beginning this way.
So then everybody'd have to come in and get theirs inspected to make sure that they're,
If we keep it with turn signals.
So that's part of it. If we do turn signals, everybody has to come in.
No, you have the option to be inspected.
This
It's
ordinance.
not-
You're not
Right,
required
it's an
to.
option.
You're required to have turn signals, you're not required to have it inspected for turn signals.
We said we would perform an inspection if somebody came in.
It's like a $25 fee or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time.
It does muddy up the, clubs that come in, other people out of towns, they don't know the local ordinances, I guess. I'm of the opinion that going with the state is the way I lean at this point.
but most, and I've seen it numerous times out on the county roads, there's people driving them all over the place. Down the highways.
And you can use it on anything not a 4-lane highway. That's what the new state law allows. So 2-lane highway, you just can't go over 35 miles an hour. So you can use it on 218, but you can't use it on Highway 30. So if it's a 4-lane highway, you're allowed to cross, but you're not allowed to transit.
Well, I'll make the motion to amend that we strike turn signals, subsection 4, item 6.
I would second that.
We keep saying the state's gonna come back and fix it next year, and when the state comes back and fixes it next year.
They're done with it. Motion by Beth, seconded by Andrew to amend the ordinance to get rid of the turn signal requirement. Right?
Correct.
So now I gotta do a roll call.
Mhm.
How many people wanna agree to that? If it fails, what happens?
If it fails, then you back to your beginning ordinance, or just, yeah, do it by roll call.
Okay, so roll call for the amendment of getting rid of turn signals.
Gates,
Yes.
Elwick,
Yes.
Beerbauer,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Fluhop,
No.
Husenius.
No.
So, we'll start over.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, moving on. I need motion approval of counter offer for fuel surcharge to J&R Sanitation.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Tammy, second by Bethany. All right, what you come up with, kids?
Okay, the formula. Is that the top, that's the top sheet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the explanation is on the second sheet.
I was sorting through.
Yeah, Tammy in the billing office,
She explained it very well.
she was a genius. Her formula was similar to yours.
Yeah, so you took the base amount, what you had average, what he bid it, which was $3.36. Multiplied that, what his gallons usage was $23.50. Took the difference between the monthly average fuel cost, that's what came up with per household per month.
Can you say that again?
So they took the average, okay, of when the contract was written, which was the control price, which is $3.36.
Okay,
And I know originally you guys said you want to have $3.50,
Sorry.
Okay.
but they
Can
went to
I-
$3.36.
Let Melissa.
Oh,
Can I
sorry,
jump
go
in
ahead.
there? Because I just wanna clarify that 336.
Because that was inflationary.
There was inflation built into the contract each year, so we took, when the contract started, the fuel price was $3.18, so 2% inflation each year on that, or sorry, $3.18, 2% inflation gave us the 336, is where that came from.
So that is the new base. And then that cost is subtracted from the monthly average. And that is multiplied by the 2,350 gallons that he was used.
2,350 gallons, okay?
And you're more than welcome to have this if you want it.
I would love to have a copy.
You can have it. Come on up and get it, because I'm done, because that's all there was to it.
So in other words, we're offering to pay exactly the extra for the fuel and not just an overall straight up inflation to cover tires and stuff.
That way it bounces up and down. Does it look right?
What number are we where are we basing the number for what the monthly average is going forward? Where are we pulling that
I think
number
they're looking it up on the Midwest average.
On that website. you
Number
know,
That I
two.
provided, okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted clarification.
Comments, questions?
I like it, I think this is exactly what we
That's our counter offer.
thought
Okay.
it was going to be in the first place.
So that would put the counter offer at $11,999.10. Reimbursement for the surcharge to J&R, correct?
Since July.
So on
Yes.
August, September.
That would cover August, September, October.
During the time that the ordinance is passed.
Yes, since
That's
the
right.
ordinance passed. That's right, that was key.
Okay,
Because we started talking about it soon, and then we had to pass the ordinance.
But I took that one, we said we make it retroactive back to July.
But in
We
July,
didn't say that. No, I thought we said we make it back to the beginning of the fiscal.
but in July, we didn't have an ordinance that we could
this back to them, I will adjust the amendment, and I will get it back to you guys for consideration and approval next meeting.
Yep,
Okay.
get her back quick, don't let them dilly-dally.
Oh, I won't, believe me.
Which
I don't
is
think
the 21st, it's the Monday of Thanksgiving week.
Okay. At 7 PM? Okay.
Good enough?
That works, I have
You
some,
leave in a better mood tonight?
we'll see.
All right, moving on to new business, need motion approval of bid for Riverside Playground equipment. What? I have to vote on here, it's just a counter offer, there's nothing to vote on, is there?
Well, to make it official,
Okay,
do that, Mr. Mayor.
all those in favor of the counter offer to J&R Sanitation?
Aye.
Any opposed?
It's
Okay.
easier that way, Mr.
Good enough.
Mayor. Okay.
Now, item A, need a motion approval of bid for Riverside Playground equipment.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Riley, second by Tammy. Matt?
Yes, sir. There's
Is
that,
that what you
yeah,
wanted?
Chris is, that, and then if you wanna scroll up, or scroll down, whatever, you can kinda see, I guess it is on here. Okay, there you go, that's fine, that'll work.
Okay.
That just kinda shows it in motion, but that page, and then a couple more down. too.
A couple more down, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's just different views of stuff, so I mean, from different angles. So, the insurance company provided us $155,000 in reimbursement for Riverside. I put this out to bid, in, mid-October. We received bids back from just one company. 3 of them said that they'd love to work with us, but they just couldn't meet our preferred, and they couldn't even meet our least preferred deadline of install. So I gave, everyone the option of obviously meeting us within that, $155,000 threshold. And then my other requirements were 5 specific weeks to be able to meet install. The only company that would meet any of our preferred install dates was Park Planet, and quite frankly, that was a company I wanted to work with anyways. So once we got back to the drawing board, we were able to take out, $30,000, $40,000 of install, replaced it with equipment versus install costs, because I think we can do a community install again for this, and added 4 new playground pieces. There's one playground piece that put us over the $155,000 mark, which I'll pay for out of my budget if I need to, and it was a sensory wall for kids on the autism spectrum. I thought that was a nice piece to go in that. We added, so if you want to scroll down, here's the pieces that we added. Go back up, Chris, I'm sorry. Keep going. So we added, for that additional money that's in there, we added a zip line, which I think will be extremely popular. We added another bucket seat, which that's just, some of this stuff we also got for free, based on the amount that we were spending. So, like, the exit to the zip line was $8,000. We decided to trade that out for points, so it was cheaper for us to buy a couple other pieces of equipment in there for the same price that we were gonna get the exit of the zip line for. We basically got the exit of the zip line for points that we got for buying the playground equipment. And then the last piece is the sensory wall. So that was about a $4,000 piece, so that pushed us over a little bit. We are gonna have to do some excavating of the site, and also some other materials that are gonna need to be done that are gonna come to about $25,000. But I have a budget amendment that I'm gonna put in the spring to move some money from our parks capital, or I'm sorry, our rec center capital to parks capital, which will alleviate the offset, because our repairs to the back of the rec center didn't cost us as much as we thought they were going to. So that won't cost any additional money to get that done. So basically, for the playground being burnt down, we're adding 5 new pieces of equipment, basically. And then this company, for that $159,000, is gonna come in and auger all the footers on the footer schedule, site all the pole heights, and then rock and block all the poles too, so, which is huge for us, because last time on the other playground, we had this site, we had to auger, site, and set over 170 poles, or over 170 footers, so I think there's 70 footers on this footer schedule for this playground, so it'll be nice for staff to not have to
playground's gonna grow, it's gonna be bigger, which will be nice.
Can the zip line hold adults?
You can try, you can find out, I'm sure it will, I'm sure it'll be alright.
Is it fireproof?
I don't think anything's fireproof. I asked them, I hope so. The cameras will hopefully alleviate the fire.
All right, if you push me, get to the other end.
As long as you yell yippee on the other way all the way down.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I'll push you, bud.
Yeah, you would. All right, do we got any questions?
I like the sensory one too.
The other thing that we added to, it may sound cheesy, but when we did when I was working with these guys on the playground itself, the new poles are gonna be a matte finish, it's gonna be kind of tactile, so that's gonna be something else that will add to just a sensory feel, it'll be kind of a brushed matte finish, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Beerbauer,
Yeah.
Messinius, Gates, Stark,
Yes.
Elwick,
Yes.
Fluhop.
Yes.
And the equipment will be here, mid-March, for us to be able to do an install the last week of April and the first week of May.
Okay.
Be able to get it in the ground without a year going by.
Good deal. All right, moving on to item B. Now need a motion approval of bid for ash tree removal.
Motion?
Second.
All right, second by Andrew.
Before I move forward, can I address Mr. Baker's?
Yes, I was gonna ask you to do
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
yes.
so, and Shelby, I apologize, this last 10 days since you sent the email, I did get it, and I apologize for not responding, so it's been a crazy week in our office with 2 events that have been going on, but that's no excuse, so I apologize for not getting back to you. When sending out information for bids on the tree service, I simply Googled tree service removal in my area, because I don't know all the vendors, I don't know all the folks who are in the area. I know about Shea Doolin in ATV, I'm aware of their company, and I'm aware Walton Stump Removal was on there. Mr. Baker's company didn't show up on a Google search of tree service removal near me. So I mean, he's free to look right here at the exact thing that I'm looking up. That's what I searched. When I look up for vendors for things that we head out for, if it's a known vendor that I know about, obviously I'll send something to them. So if it's a mower, I'll send it to Cremingos, I'll send it to all the John Deere implements, I'll send it to all the people that we know of within a 30 to 40 mile radius. I didn't send anything to Cedar Rapids. If I would have known or knew of any other businesses, I would have definitely sent something out because it's advantageous for us to be able to get the most bids that we possibly can. Any other work that we have in the future, I've got you on my vendor list and you'll definitely be getting bid work from anything that goes out in the future. So that's simply why I did it that way. It's more advantageous for us to get more bids.
I guess I got a question.
Yeah.
Should this go back out for rebid?
What's the timeline?
I have no problem with putting it back out for bid.
I think we should.
Do we advertise bids?
So on these ones,
If it's under a threshold.
it's, yeah,
It's a threshold.
yeah. So that's why why it's not advertised. So, I mean, I have no problem with advertising it in the paper and then also sending it out to other people, that's fine. I have no problem with that at all. I've got no skin in the game, I just want the trees cut down.
Probably should.
And there are different thresholds, one for horizontal infrastructure, another one for vertical. So it just really depends on what it is.
Have the numbers haven't been.
It's 50 and 100, I think. The numbers have
Not
not.
open to public
No,
record.
they've changed. They've
No, I was
changed.
just the bid number.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, that's the big number, yeah.
Oh, they don't.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have an issue with putting it back out and I'll cast a bigger net, because if you said that, 5 or 6 in the area that are, I mean, I'd love to get their information too.
I think we should.
That's
I
fine.
think we should.
Yeah, absolutely, no, I completely agree. And the reasoning for this too, just so everybody knows, we've got, a number of our ash trees in our parks all have EAV, so, I don't wanna treat them, I just wanna get rid of them. We've already started with, canopy replacement, as far as the infrastructure, it'll take a while. Brian's planted different tree species within the vicinity of every single one of our ash trees that we've got, so I mean, it'll take a while for us to have canopy replacement, but there's already a
professional service for the water treatment facility from Clear Grant.
Second.
Motion by Bethany, second by Tammy. Chris,
Well,
a lot of money.
yes, it is, Mr. Mayor, and joining us is Mr. Nate Cass. Nate, are you there?
I am here. Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Dave.
Well, good one for you.
It is a lot of money. It is for the water plant. Oh, let me see here. Craig is also available as well. Craig?
I guess I'm here to answer any questions that anybody might have. Otherwise, you have a proposal in front of you. This would include geotechnical, soil borings, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, engineering, all of that for the new plant. It does include adding 2 additional bays to the existing water plant on the east end where the garages currently are. It would remove all the equipment and the existing wet well in the treatment part of the plant to level up that floor to make room for additional storage there. It does not include remodeling the existing treatment area. To be honest, I don't think that we're necessarily qualified to do that. I would recommend that you hire an architect I would like to work with to cover that work.
Where's the money, man?
I talked with Nate about the money, and I also talked to Craig about the money, and it would be, the best, option right now would be going under SRF and doing a 0% for the engineering and fees of this and having it rolled into the actual SRF application, and SRF funding for the entire plant. So it would be part of the plant. It would be 3 years it would cover for the engineering and fees of that at 0%. So it would be part of the whole plant construction.
How long is it gonna take you to design it, Nate?
I'm sorry, how long is it gonna take to design? Is that the question?
Yep.
We're approximately 1 year. And then we would recommend that we expect permitting on a plant of this size to take 2 to 3 months at the DNR. And once we have permits, then we would recommend you go to bid. On a project like this, we would not recommend going to bid before you have permits in hand. It's complicated enough, we would not wanna have to rebid or issue addendums or things like that. It would be a lot cleaner if we have everything covered and know that everything's permitted the way the DNR wants.
How long do
So,
we have to?
for easy numbers, figure 18 months before you have bids in hand.
How long would it be to have bids in hand? Sorry.
Year and a half.
Approximately 18 months.
So if we did the SRF at 0%, how does that affect our bonding capacity?
Well, it would, it would not actually, because it would be considered revenue. So it's based off of rates, it's not based off of your it's not based off of your GO. So it would not affect your capacity. But the 0% is for the engineering, it would not be for the plant itself. The plant itself, because the state got an influx of money from the COVID relief, they would be funding that with their revolving loan fund, which I believe is it 2% less than normal, Nate? It's a really low interest rate.
By today's standards, it would be considered a low interest loan when everything was cheap money. It was not necessarily the best option from an interest perspective, but with interest rates gone up as much as they have, I do do not remember off the top of my head exactly what it is right now, but it would be a lot less than what I would expect you would bond right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Check with Tiana on that to confirm, but yeah, it's gonna be in the ballpark of 2%, I believe. There are some other stipulations, with everything added in, it might be closer to 2.75, but, I would have to look all that up, but it's a lot better than, 4 or 6 right now.
Right now, I believe it says it's 1.75 for the plant itself, while the engineering would be at 0%.
Different tiers?
Yes, one is a different application altogether. It's just a one-page application for the engineering, that portion of it. And then the other one is for the plant itself.
The actual construction.
The actual construction.
So for the actual construction, we would not be using the SRF?
Yes, you would.
We would. No bonding still.
No bonding. It would be treated like a revenue bond. But it doesn't affect the GO, it doesn't affect the general obligation.
Okay.
You can table it.
Yeah, with everything else. Not that everything's gonna get cheaper,
But, Greg,
Yep.
you
Is this-
understand anything there?
but this is all gonna take care of the water pressure problem too, I think, right? Instead of you raising the water towers, this is gonna alleviate that?
Correct. The booster pumps would get coordinated with this. It was the high service pumps at the existing plant that were not able to handle the additional pressure. It was, the booster pumps would add to the rest of the system, so these pumps would be sized to be able to handle that additional pressure.
And our mains are good enough to handle that pressure.
You will have leaks. You have an old system, you are going
There
to
we
find
go.
leaks.
That's the answer.
That's what you're looking for. Start buying water heaters now.
Any galvanized lines in the houses?
Yeah.
Probably have problems.
Well, I guess the other scenario, we can always just go back to a hand pump and carry water to people's houses.
Put a big tank up on the roof.
Yeah, we could. They still do it somewhere. I'd rather get some more input from Tiana before we go too
Okay.
far on this.
We can actually do that, not a problem.
So keep this.
Keep that.
Yep.
Let's talk to our financial person and start looking at how it's going to affect everything across the table here. Before we go crazy. Anybody got a problem with that? All you folks who made motions?
I don't remember anymore.
Any second?
Probably you made that
But
motion.
John,
Tammy was.
Okay, I'll.
There
I
we go.
thought it was you, but.
Thank you very much. All right, now I need a motion approval acceptance of East 13th Street Bridge Replacement Funding. Did I miss one again?
Yeah,
Oh, I
we missed
did.
one
I
already.
keep scratching them out too early. Backing up. Need a motion approval of RFP for sanitation services beginning July 1st, 2023.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ron, second by Andrew.
We have the wrong year listed under history, but otherwise it's good. That's 22 instead of 23.
It did. And we got him scheduled to be here before the end of the year, I think. Lovely. That's how we go. All right. Roll call.
Gates. Beerbauer. Fluhop.
Yes.
Elwick.
Yes.
Decidius.
You betcha.
Stark.
Yes.
All right, now I need motion approval of acceptance of East 13th Street Bridge Replacement Fund.
Motion. So.
Motion by Riley. Was
Second.
it you, Val?
I said second.
So that was a second?
I seconded.
Okay, Ron, that's you then.
I just had a question.
Okay, what you got?
So this is a grant,
Yes.
and what are you agreeing to for these grants that you get? Like, we ended up with a code enforcer because of a grant, so what else are we?
A bridge.
We don't have to make any deals, we have to do this, we have to do that for this grant?
No. It's for the bridge. It's from the DOT, which is federally backed. Otherwise, we'd have to pay for the bridge ourselves because it's our entire responsibility to have that bridge.
Are there matching funds required?
No,
Okay,
it is just, and I explained that in my memo.
you did.
Any other questions, Val?
Nope.
Anybody else?
Nate is also part of it. Nate? Am I missing anything on the bridge? Because, on this grant, because the DOT seems pretty anxious about awarding us these funds.
There's typically competition for the bridge program, so I think that's why they're, recommending you do this sooner rather than later. That's my understanding at least.
Right, because if you don't take the funds, they'll give it to somebody else.
Correct.
There is a long line.
We've been talking about this bridge for 10 years.
Been talking about it since I've been on council.
Yep.
Do we anticipate this amount's gonna cover the full cost
No water
of
crossing.
replacing, or will
Nate's
we?
gonna make it cover the full cost.
I asked Nate that about it. He does have a cost estimate. Anything above the amount, he would have to cover, obviously. But I think Nate will do his best to try to come within the grant amount, right, Nate?
Absolutely.
Yes, not to exceed.
Yes. Means engineering fees are gonna have to be cut down to a minimum.
Don't,
Donate it, better yet. Okay, got any questions? Roll call.
Gates. Decidius. Stark.
yes.
Beerbauer. Elwick.
Yes.
Fluhop.
Yes.
Hey, item F. Now need motion approval of sidewalks reimbursement for 809 F Avenue.
Motion second.
Motion by Riley, second by Bethany. Any questions? All in favor? Moving on, now it's time to receive and file the WTP Facility Compliance Evaluation Inspection.
Second?
No, thanks, we're just gonna accept it. Don't look like we had any problems. Too much. So these three that they listed.
Greg,
Yep.
do you have anything to add on the wastewater treatment plant compliance inspection report?
No, most of it's, well, the top one, that TSS removal, that's just kind of the plant not doing what it's supposed to all the time. The effluent toxicity test, some reason, there's a miscommunication between me and the state hygienic lab. They thought they sent me a letter and I don't remember seeing it for last year, so, we're on this year's, next couple weeks we'll be getting that done. So we're back in compliance there. Yeah, the 24-hour reporting. I guess that's on me for not, looking at the test results and getting back to them. do a better job, sitting down and looking things over after Sean gets lab done, so. But it just kinda shows the age of the plant and how it's performing and, things we need to work on, and I think with the new upgrade, it should take care of some of the problems. Some of it, like the copper issue, we'll be fighting it for a few more years, so. I think the plant just needs a good cleaning out, and, hopefully we can do that with the upgrade, the next upgrade.
Do water work before I get those
Yeah.
plans.
Do the non-compliance issues come with the fine?
No.
No,
Alrighty. So we have received and filed. Now I need to set a date for a public hearing for the CDB disaster recovery funds. Any particular date we need to do, or
This next council meeting, right?
lovely?
Ne-
What,
No.
we have to take the next one?
the council meeting on Monday, 10 days from now.
Oh, then we have to do the first one in
I
December.
think we'd have to get our publication, we should push it out.
Okay.
We need December.
She's on the ball.
So that'd be 12-08. Time is set. Moving on, I need to set a date for the General Government Committee to discuss community beautification.
I noticed that Ann is on. I think they wanted to be a part of this. Ann, would Monday before our next council meeting, so Monday, November 21st at 6:30 work for you?
That's when we have our council meeting?
Oh, it's at 6:30?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What time is our council meeting?
No, okay, my bad. Go ahead.
No,
Continue
no.
on.
Does it work for Matt? Matt's gonna be in it too.
Matt is not working yet.
Which day?
The 21st.
Monday?
Yep. I can push it back to the 8th of December.
The 8th of December might actually be better because, I talked with Tammy, part of this beautification that we can roll in is the, Iowa Visioning partnership that we have with, Iowa State. And we're having our first meeting on December 7th.
Even better.
So we might be able to report more, and Ann is on that committee, and, Jean Mann, I need to reach out to her to get her on that committee as well. I don't want a ton of people on it, but Bud and Chris have already sat in on the initial meeting that we had with that, as well as a few other folks that I have on the committee, but I think we can roll in city beautification and the visioning all into one thing that we help get paid for and materials from Trees Forever and from Iowa State and their landscape architecture students.
Okay, so December 8th, 6:30.
Perfect.
All right, I need to set a date for strategic planning session for the city council and city staff.
We have dates and
Chris and I looked at the calendar and we talked to Pat Callahan. Considering holidays and schedules, we're looking at December 12th or December 15th. A Monday or a Thursday. This would, between now and then, everybody will have some homework to do. This would be the evening, sit down with Pat to go over and discuss and prioritize and plan.
Unless you're gonna come to the beach in Florida, I'm not gonna be here. So,
On either of those days?
I'm leaving for the week. You said 12th and the 15th, right? He's gone.
That's not,
Do we need him?
Yeah, do you actually need it?
I mean,
I can always zoom in,
that's up to you guys.
unless y'all wanna go tell my wife that we're not going to Florida, because you guys want me to sit in strategic planning.
I like the idea of coming with you.
that's a road trip.
Zoom in, don't
Also-
have a picture. So, December,
12th or the 15th.
I don't, I'm taking a guess here, I don't think the 15th works for me.
12th would be better.
I think it's both dates or one or the other.
One or the other.
You vote for the 12th?
I've got continuing ed classes in that week, I'm trying to remember what the dates are. Can I get back to me, set this,
That would like to know next week.
well, I mean, I can figure it out pretty quickly here. It could be, I mean, does anybody care if it's the 12th to the 15th?
I don't care, I don't have a life, so it doesn't really make any
Get
difference.
back with the motion tomorrow, know which one works best, and we'll go with that.
When are you back?
Text.
At least not till that Sunday. Which would be
But I think Monday's okay.
Our hesitation, I mean, we talked about the
the
19th,
17th or 18th.
but that's also the week of Christmas. I don't know if that was just too much.
Yeah, we'll have council. I might extend my vacation, I haven't decided. What's that?
Flights might get canceled.
There might be a hurricane.
I went and told the owner today, hey, I'm going on vacation 19th, because when you coming back? I said, might be, after the new year. He goes, okay, just let me know when you're coming back. Okay.
So do we want a third option, a third date option from Pat Callahan? Are we good with Monday?
I think Monday's okay.
Okay.
Time.
What do you care?
Because Action Cool, Diet Mountain Dew.
Probably the earlier that we can all get together, the better.
We do it 5 o'clock.
That's pushing it for me. I could do 5:30 at the earliest.
5:30.
Can you do 5:30?
Don't want me to drink anything else.
If you can do that day?
This classes we took, was that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wow. You're asking him, right? I believe Monday's okay.
Okay.
You go with that.
We can flex if we need to. Monday at 12:30 or 5:30.
Tentatively, and then if Andrew doesn't work.
That's like main supper during food change, yeah.
No.
I will try to zoom in. You guys will be fine with focus. Okay. We're gonna go with you first tonight, Melissa. We're gonna change it up.
All right. Our website is down. I'm aware of that. We have some weird, I don't know, formatting thing going on. Jason's aware, he's working on it. Tammy and I had our, occasional, I guess, IPERS compliance call today. Every 3 to 5 years, we are reviewed by IPERS to see if we're paying people correctly, if the correct people are receiving IPERS. So she submitted information and we had a call with our IPERS representative today. They'll send their final report. We have a few tweaks to make, but nothing alarming to see. The last thing on my list is I've been with the city for 2 years. I would like to ask the council for a review. Possibly at an upcoming meeting. You're open.
I thought about that more. Did you find out if it's closed session thing? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're requesting closed session for the 21st? Okay.
Perfect. I'm sure you'll have it on the agenda.
That's all I have.
Anything?
I don't speak without my attorney.
She left. Nothing. Matt?
We had a great wrap up for Fall Fest on Saturday. It was pretty good with being indoors. Beast and Bird brought food for free, and we had 8 chili contestants, I think we had 130, 140 through the door that day. So it's pretty good. We've got a little bit of a slow 2-3 weeks, but we've got turkey coloring contest winners next week, and breakfast with Santa coming up. Esports practice starting today, slime time this weekend. Pickleball 101 starting in 2 weeks. It's full. We're good. Slower time, so we're good. Staff's happy. Good time being. As long as I know anyways.
Scotty?
Leaves, and more leaves.
I gotta be narrowing down.
We're getting there. We've had
My
three,
yard.
we've had 3 crews running for the last 2 weeks or so. We were started out trimming and then it turned nice, and we've been trying to catch up ever since. So we get through that, we'll start trimming again. And
I took mine to Ron's yard.
what's that?
I took mine to Ron's yard.
Everybody's are in my yard. As is the.
Anything else? Mr. Walker?
Next week, starting Monday, Pierce Tobin will be working on West D Street, getting that dip out of the road, hopefully. If I be there at least all week, so guys talk to all the businesses out there about the road being closed, so we'll get signage up and hopefully we won't have too much of an issue with anybody. We got the antenna up on the east water tower for the meter reading collectors. I would think in the next few weeks, we should be able to, get somebody down here and talk to Tammy and Becky maybe and see, get stuff set up on their computers and see if we can, see how many we can actually read with it, so, and then as Kevin gets his meters in, we'll add more antennas or just whatever we need to do, I guess, to keep that going. I got the digester cleaned out, and, we haven't started filling it yet, not too big of a hurry. Sewer plant, our new employee started, got 2 weeks under his belt, so, seems to be working out good. It's just taking a lot of time to train him with lax, so we haven't gotten a whole lot done out there other than that, so. Should be it.
Okay. Mr. Ward?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things, just, we're closed tomorrow for Veterans Day. I want everybody realize that. And next council meeting, I will have your annual urban renewal report and your annual TIF report in front of you. And it's gonna be, well, the usual length, about 25, 26 pages for that. But in order to do, but you have to do that in order to start the budget. Otherwise, the state won't allow you to start the budget process without going through that. So that's pretty much all I had, and that's it.
Good deal. Moving on to good and welfare. You are correct, it is Veterans Day tomorrow. Please thank a veteran. And is not next week our holiday parade?
Yes.
So everybody please join us for the American Legion's holiday parade on the 17th.
Lions Club chili supper that night at the fire department.
And sounds like winter's coming tomorrow. That's nice. Good deal. Anything else? Any motion for adjournment? Dr. Ross, and Riley, all those in favor?
I was gonna say, I'll take it.